It was supposed to be a perfect reunion.
We just were going to have a month of just making art. That was our plan.
That's Amelia Lofving. She's a designer who recently moved to Los Angeles. Talking about her friend, Jessica Brösche, a German tattoo artist who was spending the winter in Mexico. They planned to spend the weekend in Tijuana, cross the border, and drive up to LA.
We had printed out her return ticket. She was supposed to fly the 15th of February back to Berlin.
But Brösche never made it to LA. She's been in federal immigration custody since January 25th. That's the day they try to cross the border through the San Ysidro port of entry.
They look at Jessica's passport, Jessica's ESTA, and then they're like, okay, she needs to go to secondary screening. And I was like, mm-mm. So I look at her, I'm like, I'm going to go right outside. I'm going to wait right outside for you.
Lofving waited 2 hours before a Customs and Border Protection agent delivered the bad news. She says the agent accused Brösche of planning to violate the terms of her tourist visa by working as a tattoo artist.
And she's like, here's what's going to happen. Your friend is getting deported. And I'm like, okay, there's nothing we can do about that. She's like, no, she's getting deported. I'm like, okay, fine. What's going to happen? She's like, she's going to call you in a couple of days from Germany.
But that's not what happened. In fact, it would be 25 days before Lofving saw her friend again. Brösche has spent the entire time in federal detention, where she's waiting to be deported. KPBS independently confirmed that Brösche is currently in federal custody. She was first detained by CBP and then transferred to the Otay Mesa Detention Center, which is run by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Neither agency would comment on the specifics of the case.
I'm a dumb artist. Sorry, I don't know what to do in these situations. I don't know where to look. I post online, hey guys, help me out. I can't find Jessica. This is what's happening. Does anybody know what they can do? And my social media goes crazy.
Those posts got thousands of views.
And I have an update about the German tourist, Jessica Brösche.
Est-ce que vous avez entendu parler de Jessica Brösche?
Her name is Jessica Brösche.
Die deutsche Tattoo-Künstlerin Jessica Brösche.
And using publicly available databases, online sleuths tracked her down to Otay Mesa. One of those posts caught the eye of Ashley Paskin.
I was actually just doom scrolling TikTok and came across a video.
Paskin lives close to the detention center.
At the end, she just said, is there anybody in the area that can put eyes on her and help? And I just messaged her.
Paskin says she's not a lawyer or an activist, but something about the story just grabbed her. So she went to visit Brösche.
I think mostly it was just the mom in me that was like, her mom hasn't heard from her and doesn't know where she is and no one had, at that point, no one had any contact with her at all.
A few weeks later, and with Paskin's help, Lofving was finally able to see her friend again.
Finally, I can see Jessica. I was just like, oh my God, I was crying. I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she's like, stop saying sorry. It's not your fault. You didn't know.
And that's when Lofving first heard about her friend's horrible experience in detention.
She says it was like a horror movie. Like, there's obviously people screaming from all the rooms around. Like, they're just feeding her food through like a little mailbox hole. And she says she didn't have a blanket, she didn't have a pillow. It's basically a yoga mat on the ground and a toilet in the corner.
Brösche spent 9 days in that CBP facility, which appears to be a violation of the agency's own detention standards that say they're supposed to only hold people in those facilities for 72 hours. Again, CBP wouldn't comment on the specifics of the case, citing privacy concerns.
After 9 days, she says she started freaking the fuck out and punching all the walls. And then there's like blood everywhere.
Lofving says she could see bruises on her friend's knuckles from that episode. Brösche was transferred to the Otay Mesa Detention Center on February 2nd, according to a statement from ICE. And according to a separate memo from ICE, the average cost of detaining adult non-citizens is $164 per day. So detaining Brösche for more than a month has cost American taxpayers roughly $5,000. That's a lot of money compared to a one-way flight from San Diego to Berlin, which costs between $500 and $600.
Why are the American taxpayers spending thousands of dollars detaining tourists who are perfectly willing to leave?
Immigrant rights activists say this story is an example of the country's broken immigration system.
It speaks to how inefficient this whole situation is.
That is Pedro Rios. He is with the American Friends Service Committee.
And the whole process is absurd. It doesn't make sense. There's a lack of appreciation for how to make things run smoothly. And in the process, people are suffering.
As of Monday, Brösche was still in detention, and her friends have no idea when she's going home. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.